Welcome back on the VST channel. We have the Galaxy S23 Ultra on the left and the iPhone 15 Pro Max on the right, and we are starting with some indoors HDR shot. Both of these pictures are shot on 1x. Next shot is a 2x crop from the main camera. The Galaxy S23 Ultra is using a 200 megapixel image sensor with a size 1/1.3 inches, which is almost the same size as the iPhone, which is 1/128. The iPhone 15 Pro Max 48 megapixel can shoot up a 48 megapixel full resolution photo and then bend it down to a 12 megapixel photo, and can also combine two images for a 24 megapixel output, as to the S23 Ultra camera that bends usually the pictures 9:1 to get a 12 megapixel image. In this scenario, I used the 5x optical zoom camera on the iPhone 15 Pro Max and the 5x digital zoom from the main sensor on the Galaxy S23 Ultra, and the photo is not lacking so much. Doesn't have that clarity as the iPhone one, but it's still very sharp and produces a nice output. The 0.5x ultra wide camera on the iPhone gives a wider viewing angle compared to the 0.6x ultra wide on the Galaxy S23 Ultra, and the picture looks similar. This scenario is a complex one, showing us HDR processing and highlight and shadow control, which is done quite well on both phones in this case. Same story here, no visible issues with both of those images here. This image is interesting though, because the S23 Ultra manages to produce a better picture here. Color rendition is better, highlight control and overall exposure are better, and the detail level of the S23 Ultra in this case is better compared to the photo on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Let's continue with the outdoor HDR testing in a sunny and bright environment. In this particular shot, the S23 Ultra overexposed the highlights a bit, and the image from the iPhone 15 Pro Max is better. This scenario is vice versa, as the S23 Ultra managed to control the highlights and the lowlights better than the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Here you can see that the highlights are overexposed. And this here is a zoom scenario on both phones where I think they're doing a nice job. Now it's time for some animal portraits. The iPhone 15 Pro Max can do 1, 2 and 5x, and the Galaxy S23 Ultra can do 1x, 2x and 3x. The cutout for this cat are nicely done on both phones, but I prefer the iPhone 15 Pro Max portrait here more because of the blur applied around the face of the cat. In this close shot, we can see that the iPhone 15 Pro Max is able to generate more bokeh around the focus area, and although both sensors are almost identical in size, it seems that the iPhone processing generates this sweet bokeh. For macro photos, both the S23 Ultra and the iPhone 15 Pro Max are using the ultra-wide camera, so in this scenario I have all the auto lenses switched on and everything else. Now again, some animal scenarios. The dog shot is almost identical. The cat shot is interesting because, as you can see here, the S23 Ultra indeed has a better cutout compared to the iPhone. I can just see the hair on the top of the ear of the cat. Here on the flags, another 5x optical zoom on the iPhone and a 5x crop from the S23 Ultra, just showing how good the 5x crop from the main camera on the Samsung is. And now pay attention, I'm gonna start zooming on this flag here. This is 10x, this time we have an optical zoom on the S23 Ultra and a digital zoom on the iPhone, which is actually not that bad. Both pictures are good, but the shot from the iPhone is sharper. But now let me demonstrate to you the full zoom power of both phones. The Galaxy S23 Ultra can go up to 100x, and again, the iPhone 15 Pro Max can only go to 25x. Now let's take a look at human portrait photography and decide which shooter is doing better. The photo here in the iPhone 15 Pro Max is a bit overexposed. The Galaxy S23 Ultra really nailed it down. These shots are very similar, the bokeh is very similar, and the cutouts are very similar. The only difference is in the skin tone. Here you can check that the skin tone captured on both phones is different, and the bokeh effect also. But these things can be changed also in post-processing. This here is a full body portrait shot. Highlights and lowlights are handled absolutely correctly on both phones. The bokeh effect is also almost the same, but it's interesting to note that the details iPhone captured on the sweatshirt are better compared to the one on the Galaxy. And you can see here the yellowish tint the iPhone 15 Pro Max picture has together with the better digital captured on my clothing. That's an interesting shot. A lot of people out there claim that the iPhone 15 Pro Max is able to do perfect cutouts because of the LiDAR sensor, but this shot proves it that it's actually not the case, at least not every time. Look at the hair strains. Here though, the iPhone 15 Pro Max did a better job handling those hair strains, so sometimes I think the LiDAR just works better. And that's another perfect picture to just show you how different the skin tone is. But both are really great. And also more HDR outdoor testing with some complex scenarios where we have some backlight situation and also very dark or very bright areas. This particular shot is handled very well on both phones. And I'm very happy to say that the Galaxy S23 Ultra seems to have fixed some of the bending issues they had with the sky, and particularly that HDR glow that was so unpleasant. And that's a regular 1x photo of both phones showing the sky, and I still think that the iPhone is doing a better job because we still see some bending on the S23 Ultra photo. In this photo here, I'm shooting against the sun to check for the lens flare and how both phones are handling it, and the iPhone 15 Pro Max doing a better job could be related to the fact that Apple improved the coating on the lenses to deal with lens flare. This whole shot here is a 5x optical zoom on the iPhone 15 Pro Max and a 5x hybrid from the S23 Ultra, which again comes very close, like almost the same, I would say. And now again back on the ultra-wide, where I do have the feeling that the iPhone 15 Pro Max processing is a bit better compared to the one we have on the S23 Ultra, a bit more aligned with what you would expect from the main shooter on the iPhone. The S23 Ultra ultra-wide processing is not on par with the processing that the main camera has. And now let's take a look on the night photography. In this shot we can clearly see that the S23 Ultra is able to get bit more of a detail compared to the iPhone. But in the 5x zoom shot, I would prefer the result from the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Less noise just looks better compared to what I see on the S23 Ultra. Now another 1x night shot where we can clearly see that the Samsung processing makes those night shots to look a bit more artificial. The iPhone footage looks a bit more realistic, I would say. And another one that really comes very close. But take a look here, guys. The moment I start zooming in, 5x optical on the iPhone and 5x digital on the Ultra, and in this case I would say that the 5x digital on the Ultra did a better job. One more night sample, this time indoors. Here I prefer again the shot from the iPhone 15 Pro Max. And last but not least, one more photo picture of a dog. Pretty same results, the detail and the noise handling is about the same, but I prefer the iPhone 15 Pro Max picture here more. This was it, guys. I really hope that you like things like this. If that's the case, please don't hesitate, sub for the channel for more like this. Stay safe and thank you so much for watching. VST over and bye.